sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
It's not gonna happen, and Daniel McMillan,
Pennsylvania native, kept here winning here at Pocono.
Third win of the season, and win the championship.
Ryan Benjamin with the last lap pass,
And he is going to score the victory in the Minute Maid 300.
Salmon Oskin, third win of the season.
He's gonna get it and only leads 3 laps today!
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 21 in season number 5 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill Series. We are back at the Armory Digital Super Speedway for the second time this season. This time under the lights for the Intuit Quickbooks 250, 20 laps of action around this 2.6 mile super speedway in Seattle, Washington. It is a Pacific Northwest weekend here on Napa Fam, as the Chick-fil-A Cup Series races here tomorrow night, and on Saturday the IndyCar Series heads to the Portland International Raceway. But we begin the weekend off here with the Turkey Hill Series. Only 8 races remain in the schedule. Joe alongside Cameron Garlington and Logan Williams for the call of this one. And Cameron, you won this race back in season number 3. You know how to get it done here at Armory Digital. What is the trick to win here around this super speedway?
you know, back when I won here, really, it wasn't in my control. And that's really what these drivers are going to have to understand, is that being where you want to be is not always up to where everyone else wants to be. You can get stuck on the outside and you're going to fall back quite a bit. It's not like Daytona or Talladega. You're just going to have to work and hope that luck is on your side, because today is not an easy race, especially if you're not strategizing as well as you need to be. So luck really going to play a massive hand in this one.
It definitely will. Of course, with it being a super speedway, luck definitely comes into play, especially this one. We get more of a cycle here than we do at, say, Daytona International Speedway, so it should be an interesting one here today. And Logan Williams, you're technically in this race. You had a really good outing in Nashville in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series last weekend, but from your perspective, a driver who's not raced as long as someone like Cameron Garlington, how do you think the rookies are going to play here at Armory Digital, knowing that they already got some time in here back in April? Do you think everyone else is going to be a little bit more even here today at Armory Digital?
I do, and I think I think all the rookies or people with less experience, since they actually came here already, it'll be a much better race, and it'll be evening out when it comes to talent.
We'll definitely have to see how it all goes down. Of course, with it being a super speedway, it's pretty much a big equalizer around this place, and just got to be in the right place at the right time to get that race victory. Starting on the pole, this is really interesting here. Carter Friesen in the number 23 comes into this race 22 points behind Josh King. It's 8 races left to go in the season. Josh King has been the points leader for a majority of this season, 517 points, but it's come close where he's lost it a few times, but he still is hanging on to it. But with Friesen and his good starting position, he's already won 3 times this season, won at Pocono and Indianapolis, and also won at IRP earlier in the year. He's going for his 4th win of the season. If he can get that here tonight, he could definitely be the favorite to win this Turkey Hill Series championship. Zachary DeLello, who won here back in April, is 30 points behind. Then Parker Smith, 33 points behind. NS Racing teammates doing really good right there. And Jacob Hammond, 36 points behind coming into tonight's event. And we're going to go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the Armory Digital Super Speedway. A couple of veterans on the front row, like we mentioned. Carter Friesen chasing down Josh King in the points. Going to lead us to the green flag here for the Intuit Quickbooks 250. Alongside him, Nick Smith in the number 10 for Angel Racing. Hasn't won a race yet this season, 19th in points. And a lot of these guys who are only about 100 points or less behind still have a mathematical chance of winning this championship if they get a lot of good runs in these final 8 races. And Josh King and all those guys up front have a lot of bad races. Still, 8 races is a long time to catch up here in the Turkey Hill Series, and a lot of unique races coming up here on the schedule. Row number 2, we got ourselves Trey Smith and Edwin Mendez. Of course, Trey Smith won the first Super Speedway of the year at Daytona. Clark McKee, Josh Williamson, the Rogers, Jake and Zach in row number 4. Mark Allen, Ryan Benjamin rounding up the top 10 starting positions here from Armory Digital. There's Josh King starting in the 37th position. But he started deep in the field for a lot of these races so far this season and has worked himself up to good finishes, which is partly why he's the points leader coming into tonight's event. Let's start with you, Cameron. Who do you think is going to be going the victory lane here tonight in the Intuit Quickbooks 250 from Armory Digital?
You know, I like the guy who's starting fourth, Edwin Mendez. He's starting, I know, on the outside, which is definitely not the spot you want to be in, but the way that these guys cycle through their lead and positions, being on the outside, you're going to fall back and make it to that bottom line, and by the end of the race, should be back up in time to take that checkered flag.
What about you, Logan? You race with these guys week after week. Who do you think's going to get the victory lane here tonight in Armory Digital?
Honestly, it's a super speedway. It's going to cycle through, especially at Armory Digital, so I'm just going to take a random pick here and say 88 of Lathan Strickland.
Going to be interesting to see if the Fisher G Racing driver can do it. Of course, his teammate Mark Allen won earlier in the year at Atlanta. We'll have to see if Fisher G gets another owner's victory here in the Turkey Hills Series. But Carter Friesen, a three-time winner this season, going to lead us to the green flag. It's the second of two Armory Digital races this season in the Turkey Hills Series. Carter Friesen, Nick Smith on the front row. We're green flag racing in the Intuit Quickbooks 250.
What, Dad? Okay.
Good jump there for Carter Friesen. He was side-by-side with Nick Smith for a while. But from the 7th starting position, Jake Rogers on the inside of his teammate. And how about Derek Hamill as of late? 21 career owners wins. And Carter Friesen going to get that bonus point towards the championship for leading lap number 1. That's going to be crucial into catching up to Josh King in the points. But here comes the first Armory Digital winner of the year, Zachary DeLello, on the inside of Jake Rogers and Carter Friesen.
And just from the start of this race, you know it's crazy. Talladega, Daytona, not as wide as this track are, and they comfortably, as you can see, there's already guys going 4 wide. You know, they could probably fit 5 wide and be a little bit comfortable. Like, it's just a massive track, and it, you know, provides great racing.
It definitely does. Of course, this track, we usually don't have trouble with 4 wide. They can go 4 wide here, unlike at Daytona and Talladega, and usually not wreck. Of course, that doesn't mean they won't wreck. We've seen wrecks here before. But definitely a lot of room on this racetrack here in Seattle, Washington. A great racetrack. And you might notice, too, they go a little bit slower here. We do run restrictor plates here at Armory Digital, mainly because of turns 1 and 2 in between there. There's a little bit of a banked straightaway, and we don't really want those guys flying through there at the speeds we go at Daytona and Talladega. But how about Zach Rogers there, number 93, taking the race lead away from Zach DeLello. We may see a little bit more single-file racing in this one than what we saw back here in April, so we'll have to see how it all goes down. There's Matthew Brandner on the inside, 52 machine as well, and John Andrews in the 32 with an issue. He's on the tail end here, and he's got a problem there. Andrews coming in 45 points behind. He started deep in the field, but it looks like that number 32 missed a cylinder, and he's going really slow. He's going to be sworn by our race leaders here soon.
This could play into the rest of the race as well, because we've seen what lap traffic can do at some super speedways. It can really split up the pack, and that's going to create an entirely different animal of racing.
Definitely will if these guys catch up to John Andrews, which they definitely will if they're in this big pack. They're definitely going to close up to the back of that 32 machine, but it does appear that he might have dropped a cylinder. You see these guys coming in fast. Zach Rogers leading 2 laps in a row. And like I mentioned, we may see a little bit more single file. These guys aren't getting runs like they were. Of course, it's under the lights. The track is cooler than it was when we were here back in April when we had the day race. There goes Mark Allen to the inside. 3 wide for the second position. Ryan Benjamin, Clark McKee as well. Carter Friesen trying to hold on to that outside lane, but that's not a good place to be here at the Armory Digital Super Speed. We're just going to have to see where Friesen ends up falling back to, but it doesn't look like this field is cycling as quickly as they thought they would, so that might not be good news for Carter Friesen, because it's only a 20-lap race. May not have enough time to go back to the front if it keeps on cycling at this slow pace, but Zach Rogers led most laps so far in this race. He continues to lead here at Armory Digital.
Yeah, and honestly, really surprising that he's been able to lead for this long, especially with how many positions everyone's going through behind him. I know the 21 there of Ryan Benjamin finding a nice solid spot in second. Something that, as we come up on the lap traffic of Andrews, something that just doesn't happen too often, especially at super speedways like this.
Yeah, these two guys, they starting to pull away. And here's your pick, Logan. You know, you might know something right here. Lathan Strickland has found his way up to third. And remember, he started on the outside lane midway through the field. He actually got to the front on his own. It wasn't a cycle. Ryan Benjamin with a huge run now on Zach Rogers for the race lead. Dale Salzman, who's 1 year before in the Rockstar Pro Series. And Christian Vargas, a couple of veterans, starting to move their way through the field. But how about Lathan Strickland right here? The 88 moving to the inside of Zach Rogers for second.
Yep, and now it looks like he's going to go for the lead. Coming down the backstretch. Yep, Lathan Strickland to the lead.
Ooh, doesn't have any help, though. Christian Vargas looks like he's going to split the middle for the race lead. And with Strickland not having any help there in that inside lane, I think Vargas might get the advantage here through the middle lane. Ryan Benjamin gets shuffled at a line to the outside. Clark McKee, Keyshawn Richardson moving his way to the inside lane as well. Now we're starting to see the cycle begin to form, and look at this. Josh King in the number 41, our points leader, has surpassed Carter Friesen on the racetrack. Because we're still early on here at Armory Digital, but that's any telling sign of how the race is going to finish. Josh King looks like he may remain the points leader at the end of the night. Christopher Alphaby to the inside, 4 wide for the race lead, and he's going to take it away from Vargas, Strickland, and Richardson.
Good job there by that 19 team of Alphaby. Definitely taking advantage of that 4 wide incident. You know, honestly, going back to John Andrews, I thought, you know, he would have at least slowed down someone. It looks like he has gained a lot more speed once he's gotten into this field, and I think they're going almost 5 wide. Oh, wow.
John Andrews did lose a lap right there, but it could have been the fact that he just lost the draft. He could have had a tire go down possibly and had to come down and pit for it, but oh wow is right. With all the 4 wide we're going on here up front, of course, if you remember the race back in the spring, they wrecked, I believe it was on lap 18, right past the start-finish line, and they're going almost to wreck right there. Owen Miles and Dale Salzman pushed into each other, and Matthew Brown had to react, and he hit the outside wall. He's going to fall back in the 24. But definitely a very scary moment for those guys. We remain green as Jeremiah Duane, with now Mitchell Collins moving to the inside lane here on lap 8 of 20.
Yep, and now we're seeing the cycle come in, and this is where, so this is, if they catch up to John Andrews again, he could break up the cycle, but it appears he's joined the pack.
Yeah, so I believe John Andrews shouldn't be another factor again in this race, or shouldn't be a factor again in this race. Everyone else is in the pack. All 40 guys within a second of each other, including John Andrews, who's a lap down. Boxing, going to move his way to the inside there of Mitchell Collins. And now, last week's winner, Chloe Reiner, who got her first career Napa fan win in Nashville last weekend. She's going to go to the inside of the guy she beat for that race victory at Nashville. Bongsinor, bit of a rivalry going on now with Chloe Reiner here in the Turkey Hill Series. We'll have to see if Bongsinor can get his way back to the front, but that inside lane is looking a lot stronger now than it was earlier on in the race. Here comes the spring winner, Zachary DeLell, to the inside for the race lead.
Yeah, and, you know, back to Reiner real quick, just, you know, gotta feel some type of empowerment, definitely a lot more confident, even though she did just lose the lead, definitely gotta feel some type of momentum heading into each race here from, at least now on. So definitely a good job there by that 64 team coming back out here, leading, or at least getting to the front of the pack.
There's Josh King moving his way to the inside. points leader, looking to extend his points lead heading into Boston next weekend. Not South Boston, the fictional racetrack of the Boston Speedway, Boston International Speedway, about a mile-long racetrack up there in Massachusetts. It's the fictional swing beginning tomorrow for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We haven't really ever had a fictional swing before in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but they're going here at Armory Digital, which is a fictional racetrack, then Hillside, and then Boston. So we're definitely looking forward to those 3 races in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Chick-fil-A, or should I say Turkey Hill Series, is not going to be going to the Hillside International Raceway, but they will be going to Boston next Friday. Seth Cole just took the race lead away from Edwin Mendez. And we're now halfway through the Intuit Quickbooks 250 here at Armory Digital with Martinsville winner Seth Cole up front.
Yep, and now here comes the points leader, Josh King.
Move his way to the inside. Jake Rogers there as well. Your teammate there. Daniel Voiles on the inside, 96. Looking for his 3rd win of the season. Won in Las Vegas and Bristol earlier on in the season, but he's not won since Bristol. And the yellow's out. Jordan Lopez, 22. Man cannot catch a break in Napa Fan Racing. Was wrecked out in IndyCar at Road America last week and almost won the week before that in IndyCar, and now he's around here at Armory Digital. It looks like Jacob Hammond might have been caught up in it with Josh Williamson and the 0-2 of Brandon Mayhew, but it doesn't look like it was a bad accident. Race back to the line, and looks like it's going to be won by Jake Rogers, just barely over points leader Josh King. And our first caution of the night here in the Intuit Quickbooks 250 at Armory Digital on lap 11 of 20. So we're going to have to see how this all shakes out here. It's going to give these guys less time to cycle through, but we're also going to get a single file restart. So that's really going to make things interesting for the short dash to the finish here at Armory Digital for the Turkey Hill Series. Jake Rogers, Josh King, Daniel Voiles, Seth Cole, and Edwin Mendez, the top 5. Let's go ahead and see what happened to the number 22 of Jordan Lopez to bring out the first caution of the night here at the Armory Digital Super Speedway. No pit stops on the Super Speedway, so that's how they're going to restart, given that nobody has an issue under this caution period. Let's go ahead and see what happened to Jordan Lopez to bring out the caution here at Armory Digital. And we mentioned here at Armory Digital the trouble spot there right past the start-finish line, and we got a 4-wide situation here between Dylan Young, Jordan Lopez, Brandon Mayhew. And Dylan Young, Jordan Lopez just got a little too close to each other here. Number 48's going to come down. Lopez comes up. They get together, and Dylan Young forces the 22 down. And they clip Brandon Mayhew just ahead of him right there. Tough break for the 0-2, and Jacob Hammond has nowhere to go as Jordan Lopez comes down on the 47. And lots of times we see these guys shoot up into the wall and not come down the racetrack like that. And I think that avoided this from being a big accident, thankfully. Jordan Lopez, Jacob Hammond sliding back up onto the racetrack. Only one guy gets involved after this, and that's Josh Williamson in the 39 who gets tapped there from Jordan Lopez. That could have been a lot worse. We've seen a lot worse here before in Armory Digital, but thankfully I think Jordan Lopez might be the only guy who's going to get knocked out, and mainly only because he got stuck in between the racetrack and the apron there. It's a very big transition, and lots of times these guys get stuck there on that transition from the banking to the apron. Tough break there for Jordan Lopez. Let's go ahead and replay this in real time.
You know, taking another look at this, it looks like Lopez and Young, they did get stuck together, and not sure if they just come down the track, back in front of the track. Luckily, not too many other people involved, and just a rough entry back onto the track. Really unlucky there. Oh, man, just not a fun one.
Yeah, tough break there for Jordan Lopez. Like I mentioned, when that wreck occurred, he's had a tough outing in the Haas IndyCar Series as well. We'll have to see what he does in Portland a couple days from now on Saturday for the Aero Grand Prix of Oregon. But not going to get the race victory here tonight in the Turkey Hill Series at Armory Digital. That much is for sure. Jake Rogers won the race back to the line. That inside lane seems to have a good, strong run there coming to the start-finish line. Lots of times we can see the outside lane get a run. We'll have to see. We can end up with a side-by-side finish here tonight in the Turkey Hill Series at Armory Digital. Intuit Quickbooks 250 action going to return right here with Jake Rogers out front in the 21st race of the season in the Turkey Hill Series. Let's get to the restart here at Armory Digital. We're back here at the Armory Digital Super Speedway. Going to restart with 5 laps to go in the Intuit Quickbooks 250. And And it's going to be interesting to see who gets this one done, especially with our points leader restarting in the second position. Now, if we get another quick caution, that's going to end the race. We get pretty long caution periods here at the Armory Digital Super Speedway. But Jake Rogers looking for a second win of the season. Won all the way back in February at Auto Club. Another track that starts with the letter A. Josh King will restart second. Daniel Voyle, Seth Cole, Edwin Mendez, Jeremiah Dwayne, Zachary DeLell looking to sweep Armory Digital this year in the Turkey Hill Series. Noah Clifton, his teammate. Christian Vargas, Trey Smith. That is the top 10 coming to the restart. Only 2 guys a lap down. Everybody still on the racetrack. John Andrews with his issue earlier on, and Jordan Lopez, who got stuck on the transition from the banking to the apron. They're both a lap down. Everybody else still on the lead lap here at Armory Digital. 5 laps to go in the Intuit Quickbooks 250. Josh King going to try the outside lane. That's going to open the door for Daniel Voiles and Seth Cole to come to the inside.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Some of those guys did try the high line, and really didn't work out too well for them. They're going to fall back a little bit. Not too much, but still.
Number 79, Seth Cole here as well.
It's a mistake to go up to the high line. Sorry there, but it's a mistake to go up to the high line on a restart because it's super speedway, it's high speed, it's high bank. You're going to fall back really quickly.
And we'll have to see if Jake Rogers and Josh King can rebound after they lost their footing on that outside lane. Seth Cole's got his footing on the inside lane. It looks like he's going to clear the 96 of Daniel Voiles. And don't look now. Here comes Zachary DeLello looking to sweep Armory Digital this year. And no better time to do it than now because he's only 30 points behind Josh King coming into this race. But Trey Smith's going to move to the inside of him. Here comes Noah Clifton and Logan Williams, the driver, on the inside lane. You also got Joshua Rush there, Alex Bongschnur. All these guys from Hunter Blade on up, I think, still have a good chance of winning this race here at Armory Digital. Still side by side between Seth Cole and Daniel Voiles. Voiles trying to work that outside lane as they're nearly 5 wide down the backstretch.
Yeah, great job there by these guys being able to hold it together. I was going to make a comment on how the rest of the field kind of mellowed out, but it looks like as the longer we go racing, the more packed and grouped in together they end up.
And that's usually what happens with these guys. Of course, with that single file restart, they spread out quite a bit initially, but then they come back together here. Now 3 laps to go. Trey Smith working on the inside lane. Noah Clifton's here as well. Logan Williams in the 37. Got 3 wide here in the middle. Zachary DeLello wants to get back to the inside lane. He knows he has a good opportunity of possibly sweeping Armory Digital. Don't know if that's going to happen. And we got Dylan Young, who was involved in an accident, who is completely without any power. That 48's going to get in the way. If these guys aren't careful, it's going to cause a wreck, and somehow they all avoided him. But that 48 needs to go down the pit lane. He is way off the pace. Something really wrong on that 48 machine. That's going to shake up the top positions a little bit. It's now single file between Trey Smith and Noah Clifton. Let's see who gets it done. 2 laps to go at Armory Digital.
Yeah, and I actually think you might be, if the pack gets a run back at them, they are up front too early, because if they get back into cycle position, they're done. It's only 2 laps to go.
Joshua Rush here behind Logan Williams. I think Rush might get the run to the inside of the 37, but Clifton, I got to give him a lot of credit. He's sticking right behind Trey Smith right here. If either of these guys are going to have a shot at winning this race, that's what Clifton has to do, is to push that 66 past everybody, and he's not making the move. He's being patient. But Logan Williams might be the guy who catches up to him here in the 37. Got Josh King, who's fallen off quite a bit. I believe Zachary DeLello is going to close up on him in the point standings if they remain in their respective positions. Here we go. It's the white flag and the Intuit Quickbooks 250 at Armory Digital. Trey Smith looking for his 3rd win of the season. White flag here in the Intuit Quickbooks 250. Logan Williams there for 2nd on Noah Clifton. Will he get a run on Trey Smith? It looks like he will. Joshua Rush, Mitchell Collins, they're going to help that 37 on the inside. But Trey Smith will clear off of turn 2.
Williams doing a fantastic job, doing a great run, but Trey Smith doing a even better job of holding off the rest of this field. Not an easy task to do.
We're going to have to see if Trey Smith can do it. He won Daytona earlier this season, but Logan Williams is going to have a run here on that inside lane. Landon Smith Jr. all of a sudden in a battle for third, and to be honest, I don't think anyone's going to get to him. Trey Smith, third win of the season in the Turkey Hill Series. He is going to get it done here in the Intuit Quickbooks 250. Trey Smith wins Armory Digital in the second race here in the Turkey Hill Series. Trey Smith with his third win of the season. And not only that, Trey Smith came into this race 8th in points. That is going to majorly help him out in his championship run for North State Racing. Davey Johnson, the owner of this team, they get it done here at Armory Digital in the Intuit Quickbooks 250. Very unique race right there. Was nowhere near as much passing at the end of this one as it was at the first race back in April. Standings are not official quite yet. I think we might be waiting for a few guys, Dylan Young in particular, to cross the line. And we saw with Dylan Young had that power go down, and I think that's partly why Trey Smith won this race. He was able to get out single file when that pack got held up by Dylan Young, and that's what helped him cruise to the race victory. I'm sorry, Logan, you were so close to getting your first win right there, at least in the Turkey Hill Series, but could not pull it off there ahead of Trey Smith. Joshua Rush, Noah Clifton, Landon Smith Jr. the top 5. Josh King finished 19th. A solid run, but he's going to lose points to a lot of his rivals. Carter Friesen finished in 11th. Zachary DeLello finished in 13th. Parker Smith, however, finished behind him. Not entirely sure how Parker Smith is going to fare in the points after this one. He's going to fall behind quite a bit. Same with Jacob Hammond. They were both caught back behind Josh King in this one. But another guy that I think Josh King's going to have to worry about now is Trey Smith, who's already won 3 times this season, including here tonight. And it's going to be interesting to see how this Turkey Hill Series season rolls on. Only 7 races left to go. And I got to ask you, Logan, how do you think it's all going to play out here in these final 7 races for the Turkey Hill Series?
It's gonna be crazy. Josh King only has a narrow points lead right now, and he has with pretty much the entire season. He hasn't gotten over like 60 points at all, and so he's just been managing to hold it on. And I think someone will get to him eventually.
We're just going to have to see if that does happen. And interesting race here at Armory Digital. Cameron, of course, like I mentioned, you won this race before. But how do you think the Chick-fil-A Cup Series race is going to play out tomorrow night? Of course, they got a 32-lap race here. Do you think we're going to see something similar where these guys can get single file near the end of the race and passing's pretty difficult at the end?
No, I really do. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit with how there was still a lot of passing, but for the lead, not as much as normal. So no, I think in the Cup Series we should see a little bit more passing, just a little bit more aggression there. So definitely towards the end we'll have to see how that one plays out. But yeah, I think they might end up single file, but not without some major passing.
And we'll have to see what happens tomorrow night. Body Armor 400 from Armory Digital, the second race of the chase in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 9. See if there's Larvin Alonso can back up his race victory from last weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Here are the points for the Turkey Hill Series. And congratulations to Trey Smith on his race victory. On behalf of Cameron Garland and Logan Williams, we will see you guys tomorrow night for the second race of the chase in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series here from Armory Digital. Thank you guys once again, and I will see you guys later.